In 2024, Galaxy Gas was by far one of the most popular drugs in the world, with millions of people as young as 14 years old abusing it to the hundreds of millions of views it got across dumb social media videos. Galaxy Gas was clearly one of the biggest trends of the year, but its rapid rise and strong popularity didn't last very long. When thousands of kids showed up in hospitals with severe brain damage, psychosis, seizures, and worse, leading to deaths, and the entire world turning on the brand as a result, the once admired nitrous oxide slinging company was bound to fall hard. But how did such a random drug become so popular in the first place? And more importantly, who was behind all of it? Well, I'd like all of you to meet Ben, Sammy, and Kareem Amor. Well, maybe just Ben because he's the only one with a pic online. Way back in 2011, they started Cloud9 Smoke Co., a pretty typical looking smoke shop franchise based in Kennesaw, Georgia. It wouldn't be typical for long though, because as the years passed, they had some pretty decent success, and enough success to open up a few more Cloud9 locations. As a matter of fact, in 2015, they had enough success to start a separate wholesale distribution business called SBK International that was intended to supply their Cloud9 stores and other competitors with products. So far, it seems like a normal operation, right? Just a couple of guys trying to chase a bag. Well, that would all change in October of 2021 when they founded a third company, one that was way more mysterious than the others. Galaxy Gas LLC. It was formally founded and incorporated in Georgia and listed Khalil Amor, the trio's father, as the registered agent. However, the three boys were clearly running the show behind the scenes, as the address for Galaxy Gas was shared with SBK and Cloud9 Smoke Co. So why would they want someone else on their legal documents if it was their company, you know? Like, what are they trying to hide? Well, they threw their own father under the bus because the product they were gonna sell wasn't exactly legal. I mean, it technically was legal, but barely. Want to know why? Well, there are plenty of reasons to talk about, but let's start with the product itself. In simple terms, Galaxy Gas is a can of nitrous oxide, the same shit they give you for when you're getting your teeth pulled. However, N2O is also used for culinary purposes, mainly as a propellant to dispense whipped cream from aerosol cans. And that's what the trio claimed Galaxy Gas was, simply an aid for making better, more flavorful whipped cream, which is a lie I cannot believe so many people bought. First of all, Galaxy Gas came in these industrial sized cans with mouthpiece looking nozzle tips, ranging from 375 grams of nitrous oxide and up to 2,000. For context, a typical can of whipped cream uses a mere 6.5 grams, so a 2,000 gram Galaxy Gas can is roughly equivalent to 23,000 bottles of whipped cream, which is obviously way more than anyone practically needs on hand unless you're one of those elves from Keebler. Plus, the videos they produced to show off Galaxy Gas as a culinary product, which lived on their YouTube channel and website, were, according to an ex-employee, strictly used as a legal cover. Also, they were distributing this so-called food product to smoke shops, gas stations, and even sex shops across the US. I mean, what baker is going to their local Adam and Eve to snag a refill for their whipped cream? But beyond all of that, simply the name, fruity flavors, and brightly colored space-themed packaging make it evidently clear that you're only supposed to use this shit for when you want to go to the moon. So you're probably thinking then, with all of this evidence showing that they knew people would only buy Galaxy Gas to huff it, how did the Amor brothers get away with selling it? Well, nitrous oxide is legal under federal law in the United States and is regulated by the FDA as a food product. And because the trio made it evidently clear on their website and packaging that Galaxy Gas was for food and not for inhaling, they had nothing to worry about. And so it was happily placed on the shelves of not just those smoke shops and sex stores, but also Walmart, Costco, eBay, and Amazon for anyone of any age to buy. And people bought a lot of it thanks to a massive trend that started by one person. This is Lil Tay, or Lil T for short. In July 2024, he was eating at a restaurant called Lost Into Sauce Kitchen in College Park, Georgia. After slamming some wings, he decided to wash down his meal with a delicious whippet, a Galaxy Gas whippet to be exact, and someone decided to film him doing so. It was a funny video, sure, but Lil T didn't think much about it after it was posted on the restaurant's Instagram page, which is an insane thing to post, but who gives a shit. About a week after the video went live, Lil T went to jail over an unrelated incident. A month later, he got out and was both surprised and confused when his phone was chock full of messages from friends asking if he was still alive. Why would anyone think he was dead? Like, did he forget to tell people he was getting locked up? He didn't have the answer. until he opened Instagram. 38 million views. That's how many people saw the mega viral video of him getting zoinked from a can of Galaxy Gas. No wonder people thought he was dead. He just exploded in popularity and then went radio silent. Without knowing for a month, Lil T had become a micro celebrity from one silly ass video. But it wasn't just popularity that Lil T had achieved from this reel. He didn't know it yet, but he had just become the face of one of the biggest trends of the year. A trend that many stupid people follow. Within months, thousands of videos were posted of people using or talking about Galaxy Gas. The brand became a household name through a variety of content posted by famous influencers, streamers, and musicians. I'm talking about it being featured in music videos, getting gifted live on stream, and general pieces of content talking about how fun it was to do. Of course, there were also the viral memes of kids abusing it in the middle of class, various celebrities using it, and even recreations of Lil T's video being made in Roblox. Like every viral trend, tons and tons of people were hopping on the train, posting whatever type of content they could to get any sort of notoriety from Galaxy Gas. And there were plenty of eyeballs to go around. Between the thousands of videos posted, the brand had easily been seen by tens of millions of people. Now that's of course not a good thing, considering the core of this trend was a dangerous drug. But what's even worse was it was mainly kids viewing this brain rot content, and as a result, tons of them wanted to get their hands on Galaxy Gas. However, there's another product out there that tons of people have gotten their hands on too, and it has changed their lives forever. I'm talking about the Plod Note, and boy, let me tell you, this sleek device has changed the way myself and thousands of others work. At its core, the Note is essentially a genius AI meeting secretary, a note taker that records any conversation you want from meetings, lectures, calls, and more. With one click, it can record up to 30 hours non-stop, and unlike your phone, you don't need to worry about running out of battery, storage, or having a call cut you off. It will take that audio and automatically upload it to the Plod app. And this is where the real magic happens. The app generates a full transcript with speaker labels so you know exactly who said what. You'll find an AI-powered summary that lists all of the most important info from your audio file. Everything from a detailed summary that highlights what mattered in the combo, amazing insights and data extraction, and an actionable to-do list based on what the conversation was. There are also thousands of note templates you can choose from, so whether you're in engineering, a finance bro, in the medical field, or whatever else, you can make your notes tailored to what you're talking about. This bad boy would have been perfect for me in college. I mean, I couldn't pay attention to shit in class because I was too busy scribbling down notes in my chicken scratch ass handwriting. It's also clutch in a work setting, like for catching all of the key points in a client meeting you may have missed because once again, you were too busy trying to write everything down in the moment. If I had the Plod Note, I would have been able to stay fully present in what I was learning while my sleek, sexy secretary was taking way better, more detailed notes than I ever could. And don't worry, those notes are protected thanks to Plod having end-to-end data encryption and meeting top global privacy standards like SOC 2, GDPR, HIPAA, and EN 18031. Get Plod today. Use code FPD20 for 20% off, but hurry because this offer is only valid until October 6th. Okay, back to our main product of discussion, Galaxy Gas. Thanks to the skyrocketing demand for the brand it generated from the viral trend, smoke shops across the nation stocked up and sold out of it on a weekly basis. It was the #1 product at tons of these stores, the Amore Brothers shops included, and knockoffs of the brand also started to spawn everywhere. Concerningly, a lot of these stores noted high schoolers and even kids as young as 14 years old attempting to purchase it, and nationally, more than 25 million people over the age of 12 may have tried nitrous oxide. Even worse, data has shown that adolescents aged 12 through 17 more commonly use whippets than those 18 and older. But why wouldn't these shops sell it, you know? It's like those disposable vape brands that pop up every so often. Whatever is bringing in the business, these shops are going to dish it out to make money. But while these stores have their Galaxy Gas cans flying off shelves and into the hands of young people, those people started to understand the very real dangers of inhaling this garbage. When someone takes a fat huff, the nitrous oxide enters their lungs and bloodstream, temporarily taking the place of oxygen. This chemistry makes them feel all the classic effects of laughing gas, like that super deep voice, euphoria, and giddiness. But those feelings are very short-lived and can lead right into moderate symptoms like dizziness, nausea, vomiting, and blurry vision. Repeated use, however, is when things start to go south quickly. quickly. They'll start to get frostbite and burns on their mouth, throat, and lips. They'll experience damage to their physical body in their liver, kidneys, bladder, and immune system, and in their mind with memory loss, poor concentration, depression, anxiety, hallucinations, paranoia, and psychosis. If they decide these symptoms are still worth getting blasted and continue to use it longer, they're susceptible to life-threatening illnesses like heart attacks, permanent nerve damage, permanent spinal cord damage, paralysis, seizures, brain necrosis, and death. The fear of these symptoms led to subreddits being created as nitrous oxide recovery groups, dedicated to helping people who were addicted by discussing their experiences. And these groups did help some people, but unfortunately, many people took their nasty habit too far. Emergency room visits across the US related to nitrous oxide misuse skyrocketed, some experiencing 5 to 10-fold increases. Many horrific hospital cases involving kids as young as 19 years old started to go viral, and deaths spiked to alarmingly high numbers. And nobody took these cases lightly. The backlash for Galaxy Gas and the Amor brothers happened almost as quickly as their product blowing up. Tons of people with platforms like SZA, Lil Nar, and even Lil T were quick to comment on how dumb the trend was and urged their fans to quit. These statements got the ball rolling, leading to a public outcry from parents, school districts, and public health officials to warn kids about the dangers of inhaling this jet fuel. Major social media platforms hopped on the movement as well, with platforms like TikTok and YouTube age restricting or banning any content that showed people using it. Hell, it even made its way to the FDA, who issued an official safety advisory urging people to stop using. But in reality, a lot of the damage was already done. The swift backlash did heavily reduce the amount of hospital cases and deaths related to Galaxy Gas, but families and US officials could never take back those cases of the kids who had already suffered. But that didn't mean they were going to stop future kids from getting their hands on it, or let the Amor brothers get off scot-free. Plenty of states like Louisiana, Michigan, Alabama, and more were quick to enact state-level laws either flat out banning nitrous oxide sales or making it a serious crime for selling over a specific amount of it. Lawsuits filed against Galaxy Gas, Cloud9, SBK International, and the Amor brothers came soon after, ridiculing every part of the Galaxy Gas saga, from the loopholes they used to sell it, to the people who experienced those terrible side effects, to horrific stories of innocent people dying as a result of other careless people using the drug. Between the retaliation of the people and the government toward their product, the trio was fucked, and they had no other choice but to throw in the towel. A spokesperson for Galaxy Gas named Megan Paquin announced that they had halted all sales of their products, citing, quote, deep concern about the recent news reports and social media posts of individuals illegally misusing our products. Subsequently, those big retailers like Walmart and Amazon listed Galaxy Gas as out of stock. The brothers shut down the website and social media pages, and soon after were forced to terminate the entire company by Georgia law. This left the Amor brothers with nothing left besides the lawsuits. And hilariously, Khalil, the father, explicitly denies to this day that he or his sons had any ownership in the brand to begin with. Yeah. Nice try, pal. If you want to see another story of a drug company going south, click this to hear the story of Josh Temple, the man who started one of the biggest drug epidemics in the world.